This is my video for EDX3160 assignment 2 about a chemistry investigation aimed at Year 2 students. I don't have a Year 2 student available, so Amy here will play the part. The investigation was based on the content descriptor "different materials can be combined for a particular purpose", and specifically the elaborations exploring the local environment to observe a variety of materials and describing ways in which materials are used, and suggesting why parts of everyday objects such as toys and clothes are made from different materials. This video represents the beginning of an investigation. This investigation is intended to progress through a unit of work where the students discuss and discover different types of materials, then perform experiments to test their properties, and finally draw or construct a house with appropriate materials or representations of them. Today we'll be talking about the materials we use for different things and why we use those materials. But first, what is a material, Amy?
Something we use to make clothes.
You're on the right track. A material is something used to make an object. So you are right, a type of material like fabric is used to make your clothes, but there are lots of different materials used to make anything you can think of, like TVs, tennis rackets, and houses. Materials can be rock, wood, glass, and many, many other things. Looking around the classroom, can you name any of the materials?
Metal and wood.
Yeah, nice, but are there any others? There are lots more than just wood and metal around the classroom. What are the windows made of?
Glass.
And the walls?
Bricks. So I think I get it. There's lots of materials all around us, and materials are things that we make to then make things that we use.
That's right, but remember, materials can be things like rubber and metal that we've made, but they can also be things like rock and wood which come from nature. You pointed out bricks. Why do you think they've used bricks for the walls?
Because they're strong, because they're hard, and you can put them together like Lego.
Yeah, nice, but why is it important to be able to put them together like Lego?
Because then you can build something bigger, but it'll still go together and be flat.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Lots of bricks can be used together to make a wall. What about a material like glass in the windows? Why do you think they use glass?
Because we can see through it. And maybe because it keeps the rain out.
Definitely. Glass lets us see out of the house and lets the light in, so it isn't really dark in here. When they first began building houses, how do you think they decided what types of materials they were going to use?
Experiments!
Exactly right. We can do some experiments to figure out what materials are going to be the best to build different parts of our house. First, we need to find out what the main features in all the parts of our house are. What do you think it's important for a wall to have?
Walls are strong enough to hold up the roof. They can be heavy. They keep the rain out.
Yeah, why don't you go touch the wall and tell me what it feels like. Is it hard or soft?
It's hard.
Is it smooth or bumpy?
Really smooth.
And what about, can you poke a hole in it, or is it bendy?
No.
Not bendy?
Not bendy.
So, and what about the roof? What does a roof need to have?
It needs to stop the rain from leaking in and to give us some shade from the sun.
What about, does it need to be heavy like the walls? And strong like the walls?
I think it needs to be strong, but it can't be too heavy so the walls can hold it up.
So now that we've talked about a few different things, a few different properties for our materials to build our house out, we should set up an experiment. Which part of the house would you like to look at first?
About the walls.
Walls it is. But before we do an experiment, what are the things we wanted from our wall?
We want it to be strong, and hard, and flat, not bendy, and keep the rain out.
Yep. And what do you think is the most important thing to test for first?
I suppose for it to be strong so that we don't get squashed by the roof.
Okay, great. Let's find out which material are going to be the strongest. Just there's a few different types of materials. Make sure you're careful with the materials with the ones that you choose. Just pick them up one at a time and don't drop them on your feet or anybody else's. If you drop one, make a bit of a mess, just let me know and I can come and help you clean it up. So go and choose 4 different materials that you would like to test. Beauty. What materials did you choose?
So I chose a piece of cloth, some wood, a bit of metal, and a piece of paper.
How come you chose those 4 materials?
Well, I know that houses are normally made of wood and metal, but I also wanted to find out how strong paper and cloth were.
Cool, cool. Before we go any further, when we do an experiment, we have to come up with a hypothesis first. So a hypothesis is where we use what we know about the object and we sort of try and decide or guess which one you think will be the strongest. So, which out of the 4 materials do you think will be the strongest?
I think the metal,
Why do you think the metal is going to be the strongest?
because it feels the hardest, and it also feels the heaviest.
Nice thinking. Well, let's do our experiment to find out.